Hey guys, what's up? It's Amy with Amy Reads by A, and I am going to do, finally, my August wrap-up, and I'm also going to roll into this my August haul as well, so that we can bang two birds with one stone. These are not going to be in order of what I read, just in order of how I grabbed them. The first book that I read was Girl at the Grave by Terry Bailey Black, if you can see that. This one I gave 3.75 stars. And I unexpectedly really liked this. This is, I would call it like historical gothic mystery. There's a love triangle involved, so just throwing that trope out there. If that's not something that interests you, you may not be inclined to read this because it is kind of a pretty dominant part of the story. This follows our main character whose mother was killed in front of her, was hung in front of her at a very young age. The story as to why she was told because her mother was essentially deemed a witch and responsible for the death of somebody else. Later in life, the girl comes to find out that that is actually not the case. The man who tells her that her mother was in fact innocent, did not commit this murder, then mysteriously gets killed, and the whole story kind of follows her trying to figure out what happened in a town where nobody really respects or appreciates her because she's a shunned outcast as the daughter of a witch or mother who committed this heinous crime. So I can't remember exactly when it is set. I want to say it's the 1800s. It's not set during the witch trials or anything, but it definitely gives off that feel. So if you like things like that, I would totally recommend Girl at the Grave by Terry Bailey Black. This book came out, I believe, August 1st. The second book that I will talk about is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I completed this reread on audio, and I gave this one 4 stars, which is much higher than I always think because it's one of my least favorite movies. But I do enjoy the book, so I think I actually uprated it on Goodreads from the first time I read it through. So don't really need to talk about it. Prisoner of Azkaban. The next one is To All the Boys I Loved Before. This is one of the 3 books that I completed during Booktubeathon. This book, if you do not know, follows Laura Jean as she deals with the aftermath of all of her love letters getting sent to their intended parties unintentionally. This one I gave 4 stars. I did not expect to like it as much as I did, especially because there was so much hype surrounding it. I'm not a big fan of YA contemporary romance. Laura Jean did kind of annoy the life out of me. I did not like her character in the book. I watched the Netflix adaptation and I liked her character so much more, so I'm not sure why. Maybe I was just picturing her as a rather obnoxious person in my head, but I just did not like her personality in the book. I don't really have much else to say about that. I was pleasantly surprised. 4 stars. I do have P.S. I Still Love You over on my bookshelf. Hopefully I'll get to that at some point. Next up, and probably my favorite, definitely my favorite read of the month, was The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I can't say enough good things about this book. I'm so excited for the sequel. This is another book that absolutely lived up to its hype. I'm so excited that I finally read it and that it was still so good to me. So this follows Jude, who is sucked into the world of fairy after her birth father comes to the human world and kills her actual mother and father who has raised her. So her and her 2 sisters, one is part fairy or belongs to the fairy world. And this is her kind of being like, I'm a bad bitch and I'm gonna do what I want. Getting through fairy. I had a lot of feelings about this. Like, actually, let me pull some. I only have 2 notes written down. I have a bunch of tabs, but I only have 2 notes written down in my notebook, and I'm going to read them. Page 86. My confusion is so real. I normally go balls deep on the assholes, but Prince Dane is kind of winning me, which makes me think that he is actually manipulating Jude. You know what I'm saying? And then page 119, is this actually turning into a Cardan sob story? Because, ugh, no thanks. Those are the only 2 notes that I took. Favorite read of the month, top 5 of the year. That is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I gotta get a sip of tea. What's up, y'all? Ravens play tomorrow. The next book is a teeny tiny printout, and that is You Will Know Me by Megan Abbott. I listened to the audio of this. I'm sinking in my seat here. I gave this a 3.5 out of 5 stars. This follows, I've discussed this so many times on so many videos, but I'll just run through it again. This follows the story of Devin, who is a 15-year-old gymnast, and the small community of competition gymnastics and climbing the ladder. It's a very, very tight community, and this follows the death and... Buck is so weird. This follows the mysterious death of somebody involved in the gymnastics family. Somebody who Devin, our main character, had a pretty interesting, mysterious relationship with. So, that is You Will Know Me by Megan Abbott. I really enjoyed Megan Abbott. So much so that I bought one of her books just not even knowing what it was about, because I really liked her writing style. So, Bubba, can we not destroy things? He's ripping up his favorite stuffed animal. He's gonna regret this. The next book on my list that I completed was the audio of A Torch Against the Night by Saba Tahir. When I first started listening to this, I loved it. And then my interest kind of tapered a little bit. And then it grew again, but this one definitely had a sophomore slump to it. It was a little bit draggy. It was a whole lot of story with not too much action. It did pick back up at the end, and I enjoyed it. I can't remember what I rated it on Goodreads, but if I have to bring it up right now, I'm going to go ahead and say maybe 3.5 stars, but that's about it. So, Torch Against the Night, Saba Tahir. It's the sequel to An Ember in the Ashes. It's kind of hard to go into what it's about without giving too many spoilers, so I'm not gonna. Next up, and I believe the final book, because I only read 7 books. Wait, I read 7 books? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I read 7. I thought I only read 6. Oh, yay! Alright, well, the 7th and last book I read in August was Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. I think I would give this probably 3.75 stars. I feel like I'm being very stingy with my star giving. I don't know which I liked better, this or Dark Places. I loved Dark Places, but I don't know if it was because it was one of my first psychological thrillers, and maybe that's why I liked it so much, but I've never read Gone Girl. I watched the movie, so I'm never going to read it because I feel like the whole twist is out there, and reading it isn't going to matter to me. Anyway, this follows a reporter as she is assigned to a murder mystery in her hometown, which she is not keen to get back to. Interesting relationships, family dynamics, small town dynamics, so yeah. Plus a lot of other weird shit if you're in any way familiar with Gillian Flynn's writing and work. So I listened to the audio of this. I really enjoyed the audio of this, and I have watched the pilot episode of the HBO series, but that's about as far as I've gotten. So that's Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. That is, oh, and let me just discuss, there were a couple of books I gave up on, but I talked so much about this book last month, and I just needed to update everybody to let them know I gave up on page 72. So there's still a whole lot left. Life's too short for bad books. I might pick it up again later. I don't know. It just was not for me. I don't really do adult contemporary / lit fic. Maybe I'll get back into it, but I'm not making any promises. It just was very shallow and not what I was looking for at that point in time. So, Rush by Lisa Patton did not work out for me. Now I will do my haul, which, you know, some people don't like to watch hauls, so maybe this is where you leave me. And if you do, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. If you like hauls, then yay! Welcome to my August haul. Dread Nation by Justina Ireland. This is a young adult historical fantasy horror, maybe. This follows a young African American girl. We are in the Civil War time period, and on top of our Civil War issues, we also have zombies. This takes place in Baltimore, more specifically Baltimore County, which is awesome. That's where I live, so I'm very excited to read this. Next up, I hauled from my Owl Crate, and that is Grace and Fury by Tracy Banghart. This cover is amazing. I'm stoked for it, and I already read this book. I love it. This is also a top 5 read of the year, so yeah, super stoked to actually have this beautiful cover. And if you have not read this book, please read it. I'm just gonna go ahead and read the dedication so that you know that you need to read it. For every woman who has been told to sit down and be quiet, and who has stood up anyway. Read this book. The next book I hauled from my Shelf Love Crate, and that is The Bird and the Blade by Megan Bannon. I keep talking about how much I love it. I haven't talked about what it's about. This book follows 2 sisters in a fantasy world where women basically just shut up and follow what they're supposed to follow. The 2 sisters could not be more different. One longs to be a Grace, which is kind of like one of the many women who are in the king's favor. The other sister is her handmaiden, basically. Hates the way that society is, hates the rules, hates all of it, but she loves her sister, so she, you know, hangs out with her sister, does what her sister wants. Then one day, the king or crown prince chooses the sister to be a Grace. And then chaos ensues, and the girl who wanted to be a Grace winds up on an island, a prison island, fighting for her life, literally. The 2 girls are determined to do what they need to do to get back to each other and make things right, and this is the story of them. A fucking weird ending to that. I don't know. Read this book. The next book that I got is from Shelf Love Crate. I have discussed it several times. It is The Bird and the Blade by Megan Bannon. This is one I'm not super stoked for. However, I have seen amazing reviews come through on Goodreads from friends of mine who have read it. I've actually seen a few 5 stars. So, while I was not excited, that does get me a little bit more interested. This book follows our main character, Jinghua, who unfortunately has to ally herself with the enemy when things go awry. She winds up in the good graces of the prince, who, for one reason or another, she's not a fan of, until she is. Wink, wink. He is destined to marry someone from another empire, I believe, to bring peace to the land, and so Jinghua, our main character, winds up kind of being his right-hand man to help, I believe, solve some puzzles in order to win over this princess that he is supposed to marry to better the world. Hi, I'm eloquent. This is The Bird and the Blade by Megan Bannon. I can't talk about books. Why do I have this channel? Like, I don't fucking know what I'm saying. The next, Baba, move it. The next book is Emma in the Night by Wendy Walker. I already read this book. I actually listened to the audio, but I found this for $1 at the Goodwill. This is the Book of the Month edition that came out in September 2017. This book follows two sisters, the disappearance of one, and the one who is left. I'm filming on my phone over here for my vlog. I'm filming a time lapse, and Buck is like sniffing. He's like up in it like, it's so funny. Well, that's exciting. Keep an eye out for that. Anyway, this follows two sisters, one who disappeared and or died, and the other who shows back up at the house, and her trying to explain and also figure out herself what happened to her sister. I normally don't like books that have detectives involved, but I did actually enjoy Emma in the Night. So, and the cover is like gorgeous to me. Something about the cover I'm obsessed with. So I had to buy that when I saw it for only $1. The next book, The Dirty Book Club by Lucy Harrison, is an adult fiction novel. Looks like it could be a cute, fun summer read. It follows a main character who is in her early 30s, I believe. She is gifted entrance into this dirty book club by her wacky older neighbor when she up and moves across the country, I believe it is. And it's basically just following this dirty book club and probably the weird and awkward conversations that ensue from it. So, I don't know. I'll get around to it someday. It has already been released, but for some reason I have a galley copy, so not really sure what the deal is there. The next book I hauled in August is Boy Toy by Barry Lyga. I have had this on my Goodreads to read shelf for years, and I've actually never seen it. I've never seen it at a bookstore. I've never seen it like on Amazon as like an Amazon deal. I've never seen this book in its other than Goodreads. Found this at the Goodwill the same day that I found Emma in the Night, and for $1, shit, why not? This book follows a teenage boy and his coming to terms with the fact that an older woman took advantage of him, if I remember correctly. So, even in the synopsis, it doesn't really give much away. At the very bottom it says, and then there's Eve. Her return brings with it all the memories of Josh's past. It's time for Josh to face the truth about what happened, if only he knew what the truth was. So I think that this is about, yeah, Barry Lyga digs deep into the troubling territory of innocence and manipulation, trust and betrayal. Brave and unflinching, Boy Toy will grab a hold of your heart and squeeze. Yeah, I believe that this is about a young boy being taken advantage of by an older woman. Books like that are very important because they do not talk about things like that enough. Getting to the bottom of my pile, I have two left. City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. I have not read any Cassandra Clare books. Hi. Leave your hate mail below in the comments. I bought this the same time I bought Dread Nation and Throne of Glass. The last book of my haul and this video is A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray. I found this at the Goodwill with the other ones. This was 50 cents. I don't know a whole lot about this book either. I believe it is a historical fiction Victorian era, and I think it follows a girl who's got some sort of maybe supernatural type powers, maybe. Hi, again, I'm eloquent and really good at book reviews. I don't know. There's magic, witches, maybe. I don't know. Shadowy group called the Order. It sounds like witches to me. Maybe there's witches, maybe there's not. Either way, it's a woman who's bucking the trends, and I like that. So that is A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray. That is all I've got for this video. I feel like I'm talking really fast to get through it. I don't know why. If you like the chaos that comes with this channel, aka me not knowing how to talk, and my dog interrupting things, and then me getting distracted looking at my dog, Like, comment, and subscribe. All my social media is down below. That is all I've got for you. I will see you guys later. Bye.